Hey y'all, happy Saturday. Earlier in the week, I saw something online where they were talking about this thing called Twilight Sleep. It was something that was used, I guess, predominantly at one time for a long time for women during childbirth. I vaguely remember when I was a really little kid hearing adults talk about it. And I think the only reason I even remembered it vaguely when I was little was just because it was such a strange sounding term to me as a little kid. I had no idea really what it even meant, I don't think. In fact, I kind of had to look it up the other day when I saw something online about it, because I couldn't even remember exactly what it covered. But basically, it was a concoction of morphine and scopolamine, and I think there may be other combinations of things that they may use also, but I think that's the predominant one I seem to have seen online, that they would use starting in about 1915 into the 1970s, that they would administer to women during labor and childbirth. And it was called Twilight Sleep because basically it didn't completely knock you out like standard general anesthesia would do. You're basically out of it, but you're still conscious enough that they can, if they need to for you to have a conversation with them. I guess you could, apparently. But the biggest selling point of this at the time, for a long time, was that it would block pain, and it would basically give you amnesia. You would not remember anything that happened when you had been given this. And the thought process being that why would you want to remember labor and childbirth? Because, well, it is what it is. But I guess women would have such pronounced sort of bad reactions with it, that they would tend to, it was common, basically, I from what I understand, pretty much everybody would thrash about when they were given this, so they would have to basically tie them down to the bed when they were in labor, after they were given this Twilight Sleep. And all sorts of other things, I guess, would happen to the point to where finally, in 1958, of course, the women that were given this, you're not remembering anything, so you're not going to remember anything to tell. But other people that were present, like nurses, for instance, had participated in an expose through, let's see, who was it? Ladies' Home Journal in 1958 did this expose article about Twilight Sleep, and basically broke it wide open as far as just how the effects that this tended to have, that I to the extent to which people maybe knew about it, beyond the medical professionals that saw it happen, because for so long, like, if even dads weren't allowed in delivery rooms, like if you were having a C-section or something like that, so I don't, it sounds like it was kind of one of those things that just, it was very hush-hush, that maybe didn't really get talked about. I don't know if anybody has any knowledge of what may have been going on at the time, like way back in the early days of this. I saw comments being made. Some people were saying, how basically they considered it to be barbaric, but then other people would say, well, no, my grandma had that, and she said she loved it. Why in the heck would she want to remember labor? Knock me out. You're knocked out during all the bad stuff, the stuff that hurts, and then when you're conscious again, you get the prize, you get the baby, you get the good thing, and you don't have to remember all that other stuff that happened. But I when I was looking online to get some information about this, I came across some things that basically it appeared as though that this twilight sleep method of anesthesia was it appears to be something that is still used on some level. I've never, I mean, I have never had anybody, well, at least not use the term twilight sleep type anesthesia with me. I mean, there may be another term that the more updated term that they use now that, as opposed to that for various reasons. But, if, then I saw comments going kind of basically leaning in both directions, is where you would think, okay, the everything that happened with labor and childbirth for all those years using this, and then it got finally came out what was going on with it, and it pretty much was in declining use after that because of this expose that they did. Is there something now that they're doing differently that makes it more palatable, I guess, is what I'm getting at. But the things that I saw where some people would say, oh no, it's a very good option because it's a lower level of less anesthesia that you're giving. You're not completely knocked out. That it would be more safe. I mean, anesthesia, basically the point is to have you knocked out enough to where you're not feeling pain, but not so much that they kill you. But then so you had the people that said, well, no, it's a good option because, you're not completely knocked out, and you can be kind of, semi-conscious enough if they need to talk to you and all that kind of stuff, or people that are panicked about, like dental work. You can just knock them out and be done with it. As far as the medical folks that are performing whatever procedure the person needs to have done. But then other people would say, well, no, it's actually a really bad choice of anesthetic, because anything beyond using this twilight sleep type method, you are anesthetized enough that you have you're connected up to a breathing machine, a ventilator that helps you breathe, that is breathing automatically for you while you're out. Whereas with the twilight sleep, that's not the case. But it's basically, if you think of it in terms of like alcohol, alcohol is a depressant. Obviously, the twilight sleep is also a depressant also. But you're not hooked up to anything to help you with your breathing while you're unconscious. So there's the other side that said, no, it's, you can actually it can actually be more dangerous, more potentially dangerous, because of problems that you may not notice that what's happening until it's too late. Whereas with the other, the heavier anesthetic, there would be other protocols, other things you'd be hooked up to, other things that they would have to do that would make it easier for them to know more quickly if something is going on that's not good, that they need to deal with. So, if anybody out there has ever had experience with twilight sleep, I'd kind of be interested to hear about it. Because if it is something that is still currently kind of, I don't know to what extent it might still be used today. Or if this is just kind of we have it there as an option that we can offer people. Maybe people don't take that option so much. Maybe they take other options. I don't know. What else are they calling it besides the twilight sleep type anesthetic? let me know. I'd really like to hear about it. And thank you for stopping by today and listening to me and talk about this. And hopefully I'll have something else coming out here. Oh, I hope within the next day or two. I hope. If not, maybe by the middle of next week. But thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. And y'all have a great day.